We are now joined by the 21 Means 21 Pole Award winner for the 58th Daytona 500. Next Sunday, Chase Elliott, who's the driver of the number 24 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Chase, before you came in here a little while ago, we listed off a whole bunch of accomplishments, records, and milestones that this pole set here, including that you are the youngest Daytona 500 pole winner at the age of 20 years, 2 months and 17 days. Can you talk a little bit about your run out there and what it means to hold the pole here at Daytona?
Just such a, so I think such a special day, and a great way to start 2016 for our team. Daytona 500 qualifying day is such a, it's such a opportunity for the teams to really, I feel like, show what they've done in the off season and the kind of work ethic that they have, and the amount of hours and the massaging that they put in these race cars to find those extra hundredths and thousandths of a second that are so crucial on qualifying day. So that's what it's all about today. I don't feel like it's about me. There's nothing special I did to earn it. It's about those guys and the kind of car they brought the racetrack. So that's the biggest thing I look at, and just excited to be a part of their race team, and want to make sure I try my very best to do the job that they deserve.
All right, we'll open it up for questions here for our pole winner. When you get a microphone, please state your name and affiliation. We'll start with Matt. We'll go to Bruce next.
Matt Weaver, AutoWeek.com. Chase, you know that Jeff Gordon and Alan Gustafson have had a lot of success in qualifying at Daytona and Talladega. Knowing that the driver really isn't as important, did you still kind of feel a pressure to make sure that you did do your part and get the car as close to the front row as possible?
I think definitely coming in today, knowing that those guys have had a lot of success over the course of 2015, and this is the same car he had a lot of success with last year on qualifying, and had a lot of success in the race too. We're really fast both of those days, but definitely didn't want to mess anything up. Like you said, it's pretty straightforward, I think, from the driving side, but I found a way to mess up there that first go, stalled it, and didn't get going like I needed to. Still didn't get going like I felt like I needed to that second round, but fortunately it was enough, and just try not to do anything dumb to mess up.
We'll go to Bruce and then Mike and Brandt.
Bruce Martin, Speed Sport Magazine and Autosport.com. I know, speaking with you on the past, you vaguely remember when your father won the Brickyard in 2002. In 2001, he won his last Daytona 500 pole. Do you have any recollection of that? And when you think of what your father meant in the Daytona 500, what does it feel now to you to be part of that?
Yeah, I can't say that I remember that day. I wish I did, but I don't. But I know those guys have had him and his family and their entire team. They had some great days down here, and it's hard to not have just a ton of respect for everything they did, doing it out of Georgia, and the manner of which they went about their business, I think, is really special. And I think that's a something to look at, and to go about your business like that. I feel like they did things the right way, and that's very cool to look back on.
All right, we'll go to Mike and then Brandt and Holly.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. You talked about this being mostly a team thing, but it does put you in the spotlight for a few days, and is obviously a big accomplishment. Does it separate you from the other rookies, at least for a while, having this first big notch?
No, not at all. I don't think today has anything to do with that. I think there's a lot of great rookies this year that are competing for that award, but I don't think today separates anybody from anybody else by any means. I think those guys have just as good a shot to have a great week as anybody else, and like I said, that there's some good guys out there and some good teams they're driving for, so I expect all of them to be good.
All right, we go to Brandt and then Holly and Bob.
Brandt James, USA Today. Have you had any communication with Jeff, and if so, what did he say?
Just the Fox interview a minute ago, but other than that, I have not yet. But he just said congratulations, and I think he knows the caliber of people and the kind of group that the 24 team has built over the years, and Alan Gustafson has played a major role in that. And he's done such a good job of welcoming me into this role, and I think that's very important. I've had his support since I walked in the door in December to go test at Homestead with that team. And, really just their entire group, welcomed me with open arms and making me feel at home. I feel like it was a very big step into trying to get things started off the right way. So, I kind of take this week as a building block, and especially today, and just, grow my respect for what they did over the off season, and just to give them thanks, because like I said, today's about them and what they accomplished.
All right, we'll go to Holly, and then we'll go to Bob, and then to Lewis.
Chase, kind of along those same lines, I know that you're very businesslike with it, but this is a really big deal to win the pole in your very first Daytona 500. Just what are your feelings about that? Can you tell us a little bit about the emotion of doing such an awesome thing?
Yeah, it's like I've told people, I don't think I'd completely wrapped my head around or had let it sink in the fact that we were even going to be competing in a Daytona 500 today, much less go out and have a shot and be able to sit on the pole. So, I think the biggest thing I look at is kind of going back to last night and looking at that race and trying to learn some things. For us, we want to try to be smart on Thursday. Like I've told other people, the past 25, 30 minutes is this is a big day, but at the same time, this is a long week. And, this is a step in the right direction, but that's one lap versus, 500 miles next Sunday. So, very big difference. And like I said, just a real long ways to go. We want to try to make sure we have this car next Sunday. I think that's the main goal, is to try to be smart on Thursday. Know that if we can get through those duels, we're going to be able to start on the front row regardless. And that's very important. So, having that, to look back on and a little bit of comfort there, I think is good. But at the same time, I still think I need to be in some positions to learn for the race on Sunday. So I've never drafted in these cars, which I think is going to be important. So I've been trying to pay as much attention to that as possible. And I think our car is plenty good enough to compete. We just need to be smart and try to hopefully speed up that learning curve.
All right, we'll go to Bob, to Lewis, and then we'll wrap up with Dinah.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. Were you nervous at all coming into today, or you knowing that you're in the Daytona 500 through this new system and knowing that, you have a lot of time to prepare? Was it just kind of go out and see where you end up?
In a way, I think it was. In a way, I felt like that, these guys had prepared a really good race car, and they all had a lot of confidence in it. So for me, I just wanted to do my job and try not to mess anything up. I felt like we would come in today, and I know Alan felt really good about, qualifying and hopefully having a shot at the pole. So I just didn't want to mess up and try to hit my marks and move forward from there. But there were definitely some nerves, and for me, just trying to, let it sink in a little bit, I think is going to be important. But, like I said a minute ago, this is a long week, and we need to be smart about that and try to have this car for next Sunday.
We'll go to Lewis.
Louis Frank of Reuters over to your left. Super Bowl's over. There's no Republican presidential debate, and they probably won't be announcing a successor to Anton Scalia for the Supreme Court. Are you ready for the media distraction and attention in the next week?
Yeah, well, I think it's as much as you let it be, in that aspect. I think the most important thing is what goes on the racetrack and trying to be prepared from a mental standpoint, physically as well, and just try to wrap your head around what's to come, and the kind of racing that's going to go on throughout this week is very important. Like I alluded to a minute ago, paying attention to that race last night I think was important, and watching races, over the past couple of years I think will be big as well. So I look at that, and the media side is what it is, and I think as much of it will get to you as you let it. So that's the way I go about it.
And we're going to wrap up with Dinah.
Hi, Chase. Dinah Pulver with the Daytona paper. I wondered a couple of things. One is, what did they tell you when you went out there today? What was your mission when you went on the track? And the other thing is sort of, I wondered if you have a thought about whether how much of what you do is talent, how much of it is practice, how much of it is just the genetics that you've inherited from your dad?
Well, as far as the game plan today was just try to hit my shift points, not hit the apron, and try to get off pit road and get that launch coming to the green flag were the main objectives today. Fortunately, all that stuff went smooth, and had an opportunity to have a good starting spot on Sunday. But as far as the other question goes, that's not really for me to judge. I'm not going to judge myself. So, people are entitled to their opinion, and that's great. But that's not for me to say.
All right, Chase, thanks so much. Congratulations on winning the poll for the Daytona 500. And a reminder, everyone else will get a chance to ask some more questions on Media Day on Tuesday of Chase.
Thanks.